So 10.5 update just got downloaded yesterday. First drive with 10.5. With excessive braking. Still
in 500 feet. Now turn right onto.
So also noticed on stop signs there's a lot of gap, and you can see that in the video. There's a really wide turn, and another car could squeeze in on the right. But I did hit the curb once. It did go over a curb on attempting to make a U-turn. So we'll see how that looks. It's early in the morning, so I'm not sure what the outdoor lighting is going to look like. We'll find out. So speed limit is being picked up as 25 here. Traffic goes faster than that, but there's no one around, so it's safe to let the car experiment. Decorations are up. It's starting to feel like the holidays already, which is super awesome. Now, the stop sign right now, wide lanes appear to be problematic. There's a little bit of a jerk to the right now. The car does not follow the left lane like a person does, or the left marker. This is a spot where I had problems before. Hard brakes and a complete stop before the traffic circle, and it still did it again. Completely stopped. And I just had to give it a nudge because it was not moving at all. So I'm gonna report that. And a disengagement because of that bug that's been reported. So I've had it before. It didn't swerve as far to the left as it done before. It almost went on a 90-degree angle on the left side there. So I'll re-engage after we get out of this lane, but this has been a consistent problem spot every single update. So I had 10.4 was really my first update, and then 10.5 is doing the same exact thing. Okay, re-engaging FSD Beta. Good acceleration. A couple of minor curves. Should handle it okay. It always handled it fine. I want to do a little test and see if I can get a drone to follow the car. The drone range isn't too great, so we're going to have to stay with small drives, maybe a mile or two at best, and see how that goes. But we'd love to get, there's a little phantom braking. There's really no reason for the car to be slowing down right now. It didn't stop completely, but probably triggered a little bit of a small reaction from cars around us, but nothing safety-wise. There's good distance, good clearance between us and the cars around us. Another phantom braking. So it's happening actually more than 10.4. 10.4 didn't break, but lighting, I guess, time of day could change. Computer vision perspective, shadows, and things along these lines. That would be just a guess. So I tried mounting. I'd love to hear some tips on mounting camera outside, because the windshield isn't the greatest. It's not super clear right now. I've attempted to mount the camera outside the roof, and had super clear video on early attempts until the camera flew off the roof of the car on the freeway. That wasn't fun, but fortunately I didn't lose it. Camera ended up getting caught in the rear spoiler, pulled over and retrieved it. Did lose the footage though. The banging around shut down the recording. So hopefully this will make it from pre-production and actually get published. This hopefully will be the first published video. Never really done a lot of video editing, but trying to combine a whole bunch of different footages. Try to do the Mindmeld view, which is, I personally think it's pretty cool. Is getting me to start learning how to edit videos while testing FSD Beta. Bit close following this car. I normally would not follow a car at this distance, but it adjusted its speed just fine. I also wouldn't normally follow the furthest most lane, but let the car do its thing. It's doing good so far, minus the early freak out on this circle. I did report it with 10.4 to the FSD Beta team several times. So, and I did have one incident. So I'm not doing any traffic loops. I know a lot of the YouTubers on the FSD channels are using the same traffic loops. I'm going with the approach of just random drives. There's really, if we're testing real world scenarios here, we're looking at drives that we do every day, not the same exact loops. Throw unexpected situations, other drivers. So if you look at the display right now, I've been seeing this. I'm a little bit curious, actually. Camera's a little bit in the way. Alignment does look better. The cars are lined up better on the visualization and not on top of... okay, a little bit of phantom braking when it started still. Lanes are better. Alignment and location of the cars... No, not really. The one on the left right now is still showing driving on top of the line, and it's not. Someone mentioned in some of the comments that they've attempted to do camera calibration after they got their FSD Beta 10.4, and they mentioned that it helped. I've attempted to... I thought about it yesterday, but there's that warning that you shouldn't do it unless you're replacing glass. I'd love to hear some feedback if anybody has done camera calibration without replacing glass and if it had any detrimental impacts. So coming up here, the right lane ends, and the car actually threw a couple of tantrums before and got someone really upset at me. I'm just sure I'm grabbing the wheel kind of tight. Did good. Merge well. That was a clean merge. So before merging on the freeway, I've spotted this with previous software. I may actually have a video of this that I can post in some edits. So yep, it's going to do the same thing. So intervention number 2. When there's a lot of cars merging and going beyond the turn-in lane, the car does not recognize that the cars are actually lined up, and it keeps going forwards and then tries to cut in front of people. And has done this successfully at least once, and I have another video I can post some clips of that. And the person that was in the turn lane got extremely upset and sped up in front of me and cut me off. So I intervene here to make sure that the car is taking its turn on the right turn and not going forwards ahead of all the cars that are queued up to turn and cutting them off. Predicting turns is probably something that that's still being worked on. We're the car is doing amazing right now, but to be more human-like, getting that human queuing part is key to make sure it can interact with other cars on the roads. So if there's anything I can say with merging, the car does a better job actually on FSD Beta, merging between cars in tight spots. I would say better than me. I got a challenge with depth perception, and the car does a much better job squeezing in tight spots between cars. And FSD Beta, I would say even better than the highway normal full self-driving on freeways. So when it switches between freeway versus highway modes, the merging is slightly different when the spots are tight between cars. But FSD Beta is superb at that. So from here, it should be pretty boring. Not really the full one stack to rule them all yet. It's still two different stacks, and as you can see, and as a lot of you know, once you get on the freeway, it switches over to the established and existing full self-driving stack for freeways. So nothing new here. Visualization still looks a little bit off. The car on the left, as you can see, is not driving on top of the lane. Visualization is showing it on top of the lane, so there's a little bit of a distance calibration. That's why I'm suspecting it's probably cameras, because I haven't seen it. I'm going to watch a couple more 10.5 videos and just be conscious of car placements on visualization versus the actual roads. There's the wider part of the lane. As many of you probably noticed, the car swerves to the right when the lane widens. Suggestion for the FSD Beta team and really the whole Tesla team, because that's always been there, even with the established autopilot stack. Wide lanes do have the tendency the cars will automatically center itself in wide lanes, and that's not human-like. I've actually had it where the car tried to go around another car in the same lane just because it was a wide lane. I mean, they thought it was walking away. Don't have video of that, but that was a very interesting scenario. Okay, it's accelerating to catch up with the speed of the lane. It was nice lane change. anticipating changes too. I really haven't heard people analyze the car like that, and maybe others have. I just haven't ran into them. The car does a phenomenal job of just maintaining drives, but for that general AI type items to be more human-like, anticipating the turns, planning for it, adjusting to freeway traffic speeds is an area that's still improving, but it's not very human-like at the moment. So if there is an opening and then cars are backed up ahead and there's an exit coming up, the car doesn't usually change early. Considering right now I've seen it in the past change like less than half a mile away from the exit. We're changing lanes right now, maybe more than a mile away, so that's definitely an improvement on avoiding last minute changes. I'm curious if this is going to stay consistent or if this is a fluke. The 10.5 notes did mention that there's some changes to improve unnecessary detours. I'm not sure if that has to do with planning routes, planning turns, aligning with the appropriate lane ahead of time. And my personal opinion, for those that keep saying the FSD Beta is not safe, you need to recognize a couple items. This is under training, and the car is doing a phenomenal job. You can have a regular car without any automation. That's with an inattentive driver, someone not paying attention, someone under the influence. It's far more dangerous than autopilot. This is a training program that you have to request participating in this as a volunteer. All the people that keep saying, we paid for it. Yes, you paid for it. And yes, it does work. And you're able to use full self-driving on the freeways without being participating in a beta program or the FSD early beta. If you request to be a tester, then you're signing up to be a part of the team, contributing with feedback and providing bug reports, etc., to improve the software for everybody else. So the complainers, it's just pretty easy and pretty simple. Just you shouldn't have signed up or withdraw from the testing program. Pretty easy. Good exit, good turn. It was actually pretty smooth. It felt more human-like. Curious to see how other turns are. I've seen it before where the car's steering wheel, for the lack of other words, looked like it's just spazzing out and turning left and right fairly aggressively. Not human-like, we'll just leave it at that. But this was a much smoother turn, so that's one of the notes on 10.5 I was curious about. Keep a closer eye on it. Not sure if it's me, but I'm noticing the steering wheel alert, just confirming pressure on the steering wheel. It seems to be coming in a lot more often. That was unnecessary phantom braking, reporting a bug. The car did not stop for all of those. I've not had it once come to a complete stop with phantom braking, but it does have a brief slowdown, a couple of miles. Nothing that would cause a safety issue, and I'm monitoring very closely, and if it does, disable FSD and take over. Gorgeous day in beautiful Riversides. Just adjusted the speed a little bit to keep up with the speed of the roads. So this is morning traffic. I wouldn't say rush hours because of the holidays. It's lighter than usual. But I'm gonna do my best to let the car safely make mistakes if necessary, just to document it and share it with others. So there's a lane that's going to end in the next couple of miles. The lane that we're in is not going to continue going forward. And nice, very nice. So this is what I mentioned earlier. If the car is more human-like, it'll anticipate lanes ending if the map data shows that. But not sure if that move. Actually, we'll keep a close eye on it. I think this was the speed adjustments because the other lane was going faster than our set speed limit, and I think the car moved out of the lane to not slow the road down to allow faster traffic to keep moving. It's working out in our favor though, because that lane is going to end soon. And last minute changes drives other drivers nuts. So far so good, minus the 2 disengagements early, and they've been consistent so far. So hint hint, FSD team, that traffic circle, stop sign, red light is a gap that's been consistent an issue, as well as merging into a turn lane that had more car queued up than the marked line on the grounds. Consistently has been an issue. Phantom braking. So I'd love to hear some feedback from fellow testers. Do you report every minor anomaly, or do you report the big safety type issues? So a 3 mile per hour slowdown unnecessarily is an annoyance, but is it a safety issue, and at what point are we being too hard this early on in the beta? Ideally, all of this will be resolved at some point in the future. Just we're way early on in this software. So, and the team has done a phenomenal job. So, massive kudos to the FSD Beta team. I like the distance we're keeping from the curb. It's comfortable. Nice lane change on the curve. New human drivers, a teenager learning to drive would struggle a little bit with it, but that was very smooth. Saw a video from AI Addict yesterday. Bit of a sharp turn, but this is actually aligned with the turn that we're going to need to make up ahead in 0.7 miles. So 2 for 2 so far. It seems like the car is anticipating the turns early on now to avoid last minute lane changes, which is super awesome. So the video from AI Addict yesterday, he had a video where he took it underground, when he took his Tesla underground. And coming out with just vision and no maps, the car was going fast. It seems like the challenge is really not whether vision works. It's really adjusting the speeds to allow it to respond. So a person driving out of an underground garage is going to be going 5 miles an hour or so. The AI Addict video was super good because the car was going fast and it almost seemed like it couldn't handle it, but when he throttled down the speeds, the car handled it like a champ. A bit close to the curve, but so one of the strategies of managing and helping the FSD Beta and even autopilot in general is controlling the speed, and on more difficult situations, slowing the speed down of the car helps the car respond much more human-like. So we have a fairly sharp turn coming up. Since the car is going to slow down. Okay, I'm going to slow the car down because I don't want to take in that turn too sharp. Okay, merging on the freeway. Speed limit adjusted. I've had it here before where the car needed a nudge of encouragement. It did not this time. It recognized the green light, so no nudge necessary with 10.5 on entering the freeway. So 2 interventions so far, and that was at the beginning. The traffic circle combined with a red light, followed by merging on the freeway with a lane that has cars queued up, extending beyond the road marking. The rest has been great. Didn't encounter any steering wheel spaz, sporadic turning or anything like that on on slow speed. Obviously, it doesn't do that on high speed. It's really in turns. We're used to do that. Let's see if it continues. Turns are definitely smoother, so the notes on the 10.5 upgrade are spot on. The turn radius has improved, and it's much more comfortable. Okay. And that's a bug. So anticipating lanes. So we have a short turn coming up. So it went into the left turn lane. That's our red light, reporting a bug. Couldn't see the light. So I'm gonna leave it at that because that's the end of the drive. So I'll stop the recording now.